myself for the book because 2013, right? Talk about impossible dreams. I graduated 2013, right? All right, my story is a little story about the impossible dream, the search for the above average beach chair. Yes, very wavy. Right? But think about it, the old beach chair you have, right? It's like the old boyfriend you have or the old spouse you have. A little worn, a little ratty, a little dirty. Have you tried to clean it lately? The chair, not the boyfriend. And they're important, but you know you should probably move on, but you don't because you're sentimentally attached to this beach chair. This story is about the search for the perfect beach chair. I didn't always have a beach chair. When I was younger, I had a beach towel. And watching the young people on the beach, purely for research purposes, they have the same thing. They have a beach towel and it tells them where their car is parked because the shoreline is their runway. It's their catwalk. They strut up and down the beach and they're gorgeous and I strut behind them except I look more like something out of Shrek, the donkey. And I listen to what they say and I swear to God, I heard this last summer at Ocean City, my beach, Ocean City. Two young things, perfect in every way. And one turns to her friend and says, "It's so hard to find a bathing suit that fits." And I'm nodding, saying, "Preach, sister, tell me about it after I had a couple of kids." Then she says words that have never formed in my head ever. "It's so hard to find a bottom small enough." So I went back to my beach chair because in my post-apocalyptic life, the dystopia after children arrive, you don't go to the beach anymore, you invade it. It's a military exercise. And as I stare at the back of the open SUV that I've loaded with a pallet of water and cases of Gatorade, and I've got my teenage son in the basement looking for all the stuff that we store in between beach trips, you know, the coolers and the bikes and the boogie boards and the beach chairs. So my beach chair now is prom date beach chair. You know, that time in your life when you wanted to go to prom because you wanted to wear a great dress and be made up and ride in a limo, and there was this guy and he was available and he was dependable and reliable, right? And easy to use. And everything was going to be perfectly okay as long as you didn't get liquored up. Well, my beach chair right now is about 6 inches off the ground. And if I have a drink, or maybe 2 or 3, and I try to hoist myself out of that beach chair, it's a 50-50 proposition that I'm going to end up face down in the sand. And any lady who's here who's been to prom knows that if any time in that evening you end up face down anywhere, bad things can happen to you. Last summer, for the first time, I went to Martha's Vineyard with very wealthy friends. And can I just say that you should cultivate wealthy friends because they drink really expensive shit, let me tell you. They drink French wine. And I don't mean, I can go buy a bottle of wine from France, but I could never go buy a bottle of wine from France from a vineyard that I visit every year. But I'm sitting there trying to convince them that I'm just like them, and we know that I'm not anything like them. But I say, "Hey, I travel for my booze too. I drive to Percival. It's in Virginia. They have the Concocton Distillery, and I buy my whiskey. I'm just like you." I'm nothing like them. So we get in the rich person mobile, and we drive to the Martha's Vineyard Beach, and we get out, and I'm handed the mystery date beach chair. And my friend says, "It has straps." And I'm like, "Okay, it has straps." And she says, "No, you wear it." What? I don't wear my furniture. I don't wear my sofa. I don't wear my dining room table. And if you don't perceive this, I am a short person. So when I wear this thing like a backpack, I look like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, the Ice Capades edition. Right? But it gets worse. The one thing these great classy friends and I have in common is that we have teenage sons. Teenagers are nocturnal creatures. We are not arriving at the beach at a good hour before lunch. We're arriving at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. have you seen the television evangelists who set fire to those coals and then have people walk across them as the walk of faith? Okay, you can have your own personal religious experience at any Atlantic coast beach in August between the hours of 1 and 5 when the surface temperature of the sand is only a few degrees lower than self-combustion. But I have a trick for that, and it has nothing to do with faith, it has everything to do with science. It has to do with the surface area of the soles of your feet, and keep moving. You can't stop. But now I have on my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle outfit, and I have to climb up over a dune and around the edges at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I look like one of those little characters that dances around the floats at the Macy's Day Thanksgiving Day Parade. Here I am with my rich people. I look like an idiot. It gets worse. I take this thing off, I stand on my towel, I throw it down, and I look at it, and unlike prom date beach chair, which opens and shuts and opens and shuts, which is another thing that you really shouldn't do on prom, but this thing, it has clasps and rip cords and padding and Velcro. It looks like one of those high-end miracle bras you can buy at Victoria's Secret, and as you can see, I'm just kind of stumped by that kind of technology. I look at it and I don't know what to do with it. But my 14-year-old son comes over and he uses that tone teenage sons use on their mothers. And he looks at me and he looks at the beach chair and he goes, "Ah, mother, I thought you were only bad at electronic tech stuff." And in 3 seconds, he has that thing locked and loaded and ready to be sat in. But now, I think I'm going to ground him until he's 18, because clearly a bra would hold no mysteries to him. After that experience, I'd had it. I was done. No more beach chairs in my life. But then I started doing research for this show, and on Amazon, where everything that I own now comes from Amazon, and one night I'm looking and I see a beach chair. It's called a zero-gravity beach chair. It has more positions than a Cosmo magazine sex article. And I'm thinking, you know what? I can just keep looking for that perfect beach chair because I think there's a zero-gravity chair in my future. Thank you.